Hello everybody, it is time for yet another chill Nebula grinding session. Today's, oh man, this might actually be a little difficult. So we're going to be starting on the LMGs, and I'm thinking first things first, we'll go ahead and take care of the GP MG7. Now, if you're wondering, like, Grotesque, why is this going to be difficult? Well, that's because we're doing a strategy that relies on speed with a weapon that is very slow. So obviously there's two ways I could go about this, right? There's no fast mags available for the GPMG, so I could either go with just like a basic extended mag and have like 75 things at the round, or I could do what I was thinking about doing and maybe do an extended mag 3, so then we have an absolutely massive magazine and never really have to worry about reloading, but that's also going to slow down our sprint to fire and ADS speed. If I had this weapon even higher of a level, I'd probably even crank it up to an extended mag 4 and get that full 175 rounds in the mag, which then when you back a bunch it would be insane, but we'll go extended mag 3. I think that I'm okay with this setup. I was thinking about maybe switching one of these things out and putting on like a laser, so then I had like a reliable amount of, like hip fire spread there, so I didn't just have to rely on the ADS since we're going to be a little slow in that department, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could take off the barrel and, like, change that out. Maybe that actually wouldn't be a half bad idea, but I don't know. Oh, wait, what's this? Maximize control with this side-mounted grip. Crossbar ADS, aim down sight speed goes way up. Ooh, now, that wouldn't be as accurate, though, so I don't know if I actually want to do... You know what? Maybe for one match I'll try it. If it doesn't go good, then I'll switch it back, but let's go laser. Let's just go all in on this like whole crossbar ADS hybrid. I may live to regret this, I may not, but regardless of what happens, y'all know the drill. Sit back, get cozy, we're about to grind some camos. Well, this is interesting. For some reason, even though you guys just saw me change my loadout for this weapon, it ended up spawning me in with what I had originally with the reflex. Why didn't it save? I literally just had... Whatever, man. This is actually a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Like, I do have the one foregrip on that boosts my ADS and sprint to fire speed, but I also have the one extended mag on that takes down my ADS speed by 2 notches and my sprint to fire speed by a notch. So, considering the fact that, again, my ADS speed is being knocked down by 2 notches, I mean, that's still a reasonably good ADS speed for a really big LMG like this, so I'll take it. As usual, we're going to go ahead and jump up here to get this, you know, just get some extra points going in the early game. We have an insta-kill, which means we're actually going to stop using the LMG for a moment and switch over to the bat. I've sort of been doing that lately, where every time I get an insta-kill, I switch over to whichever, you know, whatever my melee weapon is, which also has meant that I've also had melee macchiato on, because I do have the one augment that lets you recover HP every time they melee a zombie, which really is huge when you're going for these camos. Considering the fact that our strategy here relies on speed more than anything, I really don't know how far we're gonna get with this LMG, just due to the fact that, like, you know, yes, the sprint to fire and the ADS is fine, but this reload, like, even with speed cola, yeah, that's gonna be a little dangerous, so we might make it to, like, round 25 tops, but I don't... Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay, yeah, see, we're already going down. That was completely my fault, though. But, again, it's because we have the Rampage Inducer on, and we're so slow, so... Pushing it all the way up to round 30 like I would normally do with most weapons, I don't know, because, again, by that point, the zombies are gonna be running so fast and doing so much damage, so... We'll see how we're doing by round 25. I'll push it to 30 if I can, because I want to optimize it to the best of my ability, you know, get as many critical kills as possible. But I also don't want to go down and waste the exfil XP, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, it seems like round 5 is going to be a vermin round in our game, so regardless, we're also going to go ahead and turn off the Rampage Inducer. I am running frag grenades, which means we are going to be trying to do the church Easter egg. Hopefully I don't mess up my frag grenade like I did in the one video. Do the usual rigmarole, come over here, slap the pool ball so we can get our free 100 points, then go ahead and dolphin dive in front of stamina up, spin right around, and come out here. Dolphin dive in front of PhD flopper, and now we cook a frag grenade. Oh no, I threw that way too soon. Oh, wow, that actually still ended up hitting. I let go of RB way too soon by accident, but I mean, hey, it worked. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. I miss that era of time, man. Like that stretch between like 2010 to like 2014, that was just like the best time to be alive. The 2000s as a whole was actually a really good time to be alive. You know what? Yeah, you know, any time from like the early 2000s, because, you know, obviously that was when like the PS2, GameCube, original Xbox generation was going strong, up until like, you know, the 360 and the PS3 release. We got all the amazing games there, all the way from there up until like 2014. Like, that was the time to be alive. I'd also say like 2015, just because that's when we got like Black Ops 3 and all that, but like just in terms of everything else besides Call of Duty, like, yeah, that time frame was just like the best. YouTube was a website that was actually still worth something. It was actually still worth watching. You know, like TV and cable and all that was still around, which is when like that kind of entertainment was, in my opinion, at its peak. Don't get me wrong, there's still some amazing shows coming out nowadays, like the Last of Us show, even though it's based off of a video game. I mean, dude, that is one of the best, not just shows, but just pieces of like media that I've ever seen. But I'm missing, man, just going on, seeing all the commercials, because I was one of those people where I liked the commercials, even though, yes, you know, I'd always be like recording shows to my DVR if they'd be airing while I was at school, or if it'd be airing like, you know, late on a school night, so I wouldn't be able to stay up to watch it, you know, record on my DVR, watch it, you know, that the next day after school. More times than not, I ended up just watching the commercials anyway. Like, sure, sometimes I'd skip them, but sometimes it was just too much of a hassle to skip them, you know, and I always loved watching it. You know, you see all the cool commercials, like the, you know, the Reese's Puff commercials and all the other cereal commercials and stuff. Man, that Reese's Puff wrap is absolutely iconic. But I loved all those commercials, man. It's like, you know, tricks are for kids, and then like the Lucky Charms commercials and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials, and I even, you know, even the other like more goofy commercials that weren't even necessarily aimed at kids, were just more like general advertising things, like the one Scrubby Bubbles commercial. I can't remember what the brand is or what it's for, but it's like a bath or shower cleaner, and it would always have the like the animated bubble guys. They would like go in and like clean out the bath and the shower. They always had the tough faces. They looked like they were on a mission. Like, those were also, oh, the Goldfish commercials, the Pop-Tart commercials. That was also when we were still getting all those live action Call of Duty trailers, which, you know, don't get me wrong, they still do some of those nowadays. Like, obviously we had the whole Replacer thing leading up to the release of Black Ops 6, which was awesome, which I'm not gonna lie, I've been thinking about buying the Replacer bundle in the store, because I have like 5,000 some COD points right now, because you guys know me, I never like buy bundles or anything like that. The only time I get COD points is like the spare ones you get from each battle pass, as well as since I buy the Vault Edition every year, I get like a boost of COD points at the beginning of the year. But since I got the Vault Edition of BO6, that means that I have the Black Cell battle pass for season 1, which means, because they did this whole thing, right, where basically if you have the Black Cell battle pass and then you buy the Replacer bundle, you also get like a bonus skin of the Replacer, which is pretty cool. So I've been thinking about maybe doing that, because again, I have like over 5,000 COD points set up or saved up, and there's just, you know, I mean, the Replacer, man, those Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and even the BO4 ones are genuinely nostalgic, especially the BO2 one, man. Those are iconic. I remember back in BO2, man, every time a new DLC was coming out, not only was like the new maps coming out obviously exciting, but it was also almost equally as exciting just seeing what Treyarch would do for the next Replacer ad. I remember as the DLC cycle went on, they ended up doing that thing where like the Replacer was like hiring more guys. There was like the one other dude, and then there was like a black guy with him or whatever, and it was just awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie, we are a little late to getting the strategy started. I was gonna go a little bit sooner, but I was just trying to save up money to make sure that we could actually get speed gold, because we definitely need it. Oh man, I took too long. We ended up starting up another varmint round. Oh well, it is what it is. It's funny, every time I think of that era too, like the first thing that pops into my mind is Black Ops 2 custom emblems, because if you go into that game to this day, half the emblems you'll see out there, not only are a lot of them just straight up cursed, but it's just really representative of the time era. You know, back then, just when things were more chill, you could get away with saying and doing a lot more without getting canceled by a bunch of no-life losers online that don't leave their mother's basement and simply live on Reddit and Twitter and toxic YouTube comment sections, literally wasting their lives away, acting as if they're superior to other people, even they're just some random no-life, obese, neck beard dweeb, doom scrolling from the time that they wake up until the time they go to bed. I'm just saying it right now, I never take hate comments to heart, because I know behind the screen, the person leaving that hate comment is probably the description that I just described. So, you know, anytime that anybody leaves a hate comment, I just feel bad for them rather than letting it make me feel bad. We got an insta-kill, which means it's time to go Betty. And by the way, before I get any like random comments about the obese comment that I just made, I do not have anything against obese people. There's obviously some people that genuinely can't help whether or not they're overweight, whether it's due to like certain health conditions or eating disorders, one thing or another. But I'm talking about the type of people where they literally choose to do nothing with their lives. They choose to not go outside, and they choose to eat like crap, and they choose to just doom scroll all day, and as a result their health is declining because of it, and yet they still want to act like they're superior to everybody else. Like, oh, okay, buddy. See, I'm the one with the successful YouTube channel that is doing just fine and literally living my childhood dream, but you know, I mean, what do I know? I mean, you must be living your best life, right? Yes, 200 critical critical kills. We are 1/10 of the way done with the critical kills. Nice. Sorry if I seem like really toxic right now. I'm not trying to be toxic. I'm just more or less just putting this out there just as like kind of like a reassurance type of thing for anybody that's like, you know, if you're the type of person where you read hate comments online or somebody, you know, says some crap to you in a comment section and you take it to heart, don't take it to heart. Just think of the goofy description that I described. And furthermore, if you have trouble coming up with that image, just look up that South Park meme. You know the exact one I'm talking about, the guy at the computer. Yeah, just think of that. That's the type of guy leaving that comment. Round 13, and we already have enough for not only pack 2, but also getting our weapon up to a epic rarity. So we're gonna go ahead and do that in a moment. I'm just gonna wait for the zombies to spawn in, because again, I got nothing against the vermin rounds, but I'm trying to just stick to zombies for now, especially since I know we're kind of on borrowed time right now, because I mean, again, like, we're doing fine so far, but by the time, like, round 25, especially, like, round 30 hits, I genuinely think we're gonna be too slow to keep doing this strategy, with an LMG specifically, so we'll see. I'm gonna try to push it, but I don't know. And just for the record, I myself used to be a bit of the chubby McGee, we'll say. Granted, I was a teenager at the time, but yeah, dude, I used to have some man boobage. Actually, not even just when I was a teenager, but also when I was a kid, I used to get picked on for it, because not only was I Asian, but I was also a little chubby, which meant, you know, my cheeks were a little chubby, I had a little bit of a gut, you know? I wasn't like, I was never like necessarily like way overweight or nothing like that. Like, I was never at a point where I couldn't like see my own toes or anything like that, or I genuinely started having like serious health issues. But I mean, I was having some health issues, and I was genuinely a little overweight. It actually wasn't even until like 2019, I want to say, to where like, or maybe it was like 2019, I finally started taking my health a bit more seriously and tried to, like, you know, genuinely get in shape, clean up my diet a good bit. And unfortunately, I did take it a bit too far, and not to get too far into it, if you've been watching the channel for a couple years now, then you actually would have seen my whole road to recovery from when I was like anorexic until I was, well, healthy again. I'm not going to give exact numbers, because I know, like, you know, if you're like struggling with an eating disorder right now, I'm talking from experience. I know that just hearing numbers and weights and calories and all that can be triggering just to even hear those words in themselves. So I'm not going to say like exact numbers, but I will say by the time that I started my recovery from anorexia at the end of 2021, I was in the double digits in terms of my weight, and not by just like some small margin, we'll say. I was quite below the 100 mark. So from there, it took me about a year to recover from that. But, you know, all that aside, before I started taking things, you know, completely out of control, which it would have been around like 2020, because again, 2018, 2019, tried to clean up my diet. Sometime in 2020, I took things a bit too overboard and didn't even realize what I was doing to myself, and then I was just in that state of anorexia for almost 2 years. But I don't know if anybody out there necessarily needs to hear this, but I mean, just in case, you know, if you are struggling with an eating disorder, or if you're struggling with, like, you know, just like getting in shape, whether it's being underweight or overweight, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. If you're overweight, I can simply tell you the easiest way to start is to just deal with whatever comes your way now. And actually, that goes for both things, whether you're trying to gain or lose weight. Just deal with whatever comes now. The more you push yourself now, the faster you're gonna feel better, and the faster you're just gonna get better. Obviously, none of this is professional, like, medical advice. I would always recommend seeing a doctor or a nutritionist just to make sure your body is getting what you need, and to make sure that you don't actually end up hurting yourself or making things worse in some way or another. But for me personally, I ended up just doing it with no doctors, no nutritionists, or whatever. I just did. You know, it's one of those things. I'm very in tune with my body. It was obviously quite dangerous considering how low on the weight spectrum I was, if we're gonna be honest here. But yeah, you know, I just kind of did it on my own, did my own thing. When I was overweight, I just, you know, cut back when I was eating, started exercising more, and while yes, at first it sucked and my body was like, I need food, even though clearly I didn't need food. I wasn't fasting by any means. I was just like, you know, cutting back what I ate, cutting out some of the garbage, drinking less soda and stuff like that. And yeah, you know, that was huge. So literally just, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, have it be as reductive as, oh, just eat better and exercise. It's that simple, dude. Like, no, I know it's not just that simple, especially if you have like a disorder of some kind, but I'm telling you, the more uncomfortable you're willing to make yourself now, the faster you'll see results and the better you'll feel sooner, trust me. And I feel like this is always a relevant conversation to have, because I feel like everybody, no matter how in shape you are, you're always in that, you know, almost like the pursuit of happiness per se, but in this case, like the pursuit of being like more fit. Like, oh, I could just be a few pounds more, or a few pounds less, or get just a little bit more muscle. So, you know, again, I feel like this conversation is always relevant to most people to some extent. And then when it came to being underweight, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, as I just mentioned, I was very underweight by a wide margin, by a few dozen pounds. and it was pretty brutal at first, but I went from eating like not again I don't actually want to throw numbers out. I almost threw numbers out there, but again, I don't necessarily want to do that. I was not eating a good amount of calories every single day before my recovery, but by the time that I did start recovery, I like slowly amped it up, and at first I went to 2,000 calories a day, and then every single day I was literally just adding on 100 calories, and it was a very quick ramp up process, and it was a very uncomfortable process for me. And then from there, I proceeded to eat between 2,900 to 3,000 calories every single day, even with how underweight I was. So again, it was very uncomfortable. I never felt good. It required a lot of like walking outside of my neighborhood just to like help my body digest and move things through. Again, you want to be careful because you don't want to overdo the exercise and end up like mitigating some of what you're doing or trying to make up for it in your mind. Because I remember how my mindset was with stuff like that. I was like, oh, well, even though I'm eating more, but it's fine. I can walk a little more, burn off some more calories, right? But no, again, that's that toxic eating disorder mindset trying to come through. But yeah, for that like entire year, from the end of 2021 up until 2022, like the end of 2022, like I want to say like November that year, it's basically like an entire year of just doing that every day. It literally took that long for my body to not only like gain the weight back, but I also had to do a lot of like strength training, whether that be on my arms or my legs or one thing or another. Like it really was like a whole process, having to work out a ton every day. And again, it wasn't like I was doing like super strenuous exercises every day, like hitting the gym, because obviously my body needed some time to just genuinely rest and recover on top of everything. But it was a lot of like I guess you could say like slower workouts that were still good for muscle, whether that be like lifting up cases of water or doing squats or one thing or another, just like slowly rebuilding my muscles and also giving my body time to rest when it told me that it needed it. Because that really is the most important thing. You really do need to listen to your body. Like, it's important to push yourself and make yourself uncomfortable, but if you start to feel like genuinely unwell or like something is wrong, then yeah, you should always seek like professional medical help as soon as possible. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it is only round 20 right now, and I'm not saying that we need to exfil this minute, because like we can still make it for a few more rounds yet, but that's gonna be the limit. I think a few more rounds yet. I mean, we do still have another pack-a-punch tier to go, but we are just like it's a slow gun, man. Leave me alone. I am so slow, man. By the time I turn around and shoot him, even with stamina up, it's just how much salvage we look. Oh, yes, we have enough to get our weapon maxed out. Okay, so we're gonna wait for the zombies to spawn in, and then we are making a sprint for it. But yeah, thankfully I'm all good now. Obviously, it's been like 2 years since then, and I genuinely feel the best I ever have. I've been able to maintain the same amount of calories every single day for the last 2 years. I still do my exercises. I go outside and run 5 miles every single day, which, I feel great. Genuinely, it's like the best I've ever felt. For a while, I was doing 6 miles every single day, but I don't know. It was just one of those things with my ankles. I don't know if it's something with me aging or just something else. My body was like, man, 6 miles, it's pushing it, especially because I broke my ankle a few years back, and my ankle's really never been the same since then, so it's kind of sensitive sometimes, so it was just like, all right, buddy, chill out a little bit. So now I do 5 miles every single day, but 5 miles, that's still like the 10K steps at least, because usually when you do about a mile, I mean, like, obviously it depends when you're running, if you're walking, if you're running, how big your strides are, how many steps you take per thing, whatever. But for the most part, if you do like 5 miles, whether you're walking or running or whatever, that should equal about your 10K steps every day, on top of like everything else that you would do, obviously, whether that be going to the bathroom or going out to your kitchen to grab something, you know what I mean? And even if it doesn't necessarily, reach that 10K thing, whatever, they even admitted that the whole 10K steps per day is kind of not necessarily a fib, but was literally just like some loose recommendation based off of some, I think it was like a Japanese exercise pedometer thing that they were trying to advertise back sometime in the 1900s, and the whole 10K steps per day thing literally came from that. So it didn't even come off of like any actual medical evidence or anything. That's just something that doctors have been kind of saying without even realizing that, oh, it came from some BS thing from back in the 1900s. And really, like, while 10K steps is a good recommendation, and it's like, hey, that's enough to at least get you moving, that's really, like, not a true indicator of anything. Like, as long as you're walking enough to feel good, as long as you're walking or exercising or just doing something, period, I mean, that's all that matters. That's why it always makes me laugh every time I look at my YouTube Shorts comments, because it never comes from the long-form community. I notice that when it comes to, like, long-form YouTube viewers, for the most part, there is still some, like, really snobby and annoying brain-rotted long-form YouTube viewers that'll leave just some obnoxious comments from time to time. But when it comes to, like, the shorts and the TikTok comment section, like that's that's where all the brain rot's really at. That's where it's, like, really bad. But you know, I remember I unlocked Dark Matter on Black Ops 6, like, within the first 2 weeks of the game coming out. And I always get those comments of people being like, oh, man, you need to touch grass. And it's like, it's just funny, because, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I mean, dude, I go outside and run 5 miles every single day. I mean, that's probably more than what you do, Mr. Doom scrolling on TikTok. The difference for me is, you know, I'm self-employed, I don't have a social life, and I love video games. So, you know, when you put those things together, I wake up, I play video games, I make these videos, I play more video games, I also run my 5 miles every day. You know, I don't do it all at once, I do it multiple times throughout the day, just then I kind of get breaks in between my workday. Like, I do a few miles in the morning, a few miles in the afternoon, and then, like, you know, like my final in the evening after dinner or whatever. But, yeah, you know, so those comments always just kind of made me laugh, because it's like, well, you know, I do touch grass, probably more than half of you do, but okay. Again, it's one of those things where I don't really care, right? You know, when it comes to the internet and me with my content creation, I never even, like, respond or give any mind to, like, negative comments anymore, or feel the need to respond to anything in any form or fashion, either on video or in the comment section. And the only time, or the only reason that I'm even, like, acknowledging any of this right now is just because it's relevant to the conversation we were having. But, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't care. Like, I don't have anything to prove anybody. I make these videos because I enjoy making these videos. I play video games because I love playing video games, and I make videos on playing video games because, again, I love video games and I love making videos. So you put 2 and 2 together, I mean, this is the happiest I've ever been. So I don't have anything to prove to anybody. You know, I'm doing what makes me happiest, and that's it. You can leave your hate comments all day, and you literally won't faze me. I'm not losing any sleep over it. If anything, if that's your way of venting, and if that's your way of dealing with, like, all your stress in life, and it makes you feel better in some way, then I'm glad that I can be your punching bag. But similar to a punching bag, when you punch a punching bag, it doesn't feel anything, and it doesn't care, because it just literally has no feelings towards it, and that's how I feel about hate comments. I'm the punching bag for those, but again, not in the typical sense where most people say, oh, I'm a punching bag, just, you know, when they're looking for pity. I more mean it in the sense of, I literally do not care, and I will never care. That's another huge piece of advice. If you ever want to be a content creator, or a YouTuber, or TikToker, like, whatever it is, streamer, you need to learn to do that, especially, like, if you're a streamer and you have to look at all that garbage in real time. You need thick skin, and if you're gonna let things that you read online affect you emotionally, even in the slightest, it doesn't matter if even if it sets you off, I'm talking like the slightest amount, even if just only slightly, you're not ready to do this, and you should probably just give up now. I hate being that blunt, and I hate sounding that negative, but it's just the truth. If you're gonna do this as a job, or if you, like, have a dream of being a content creator one day, you need to learn to literally just completely disconnect from, like, your comment section and just do not care. Like, when you read positive comments, and there's, like, you know, people that come back frequently to comment, or people you enjoy talking to, yeah, sure, you know, engage in those conversations, enjoy those relationships with your viewers, but when it comes to the negative stuff, you need to be completely just blank-faced, nothing to it. Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie, we need to exfil after this round. This is like, I can do this, like, everything is fine, but again, with how slow this weapon is, it's just, I don't see how we're gonna make it to round 30 with this. I'm literally almost dead right now. This is insane. I mean, like, yes, grabbing some more armor would help, which I'm actually gonna do here in a moment before we exfil, but, like, it's not happening. We need to go after this. I know for a fact our ratio of normal kills to critical kills has been pretty bad this game, just because I've just been, like, spraying and praying like there's no tomorrow, you know what I mean? Like, there's been a lot of body shots happening, so even if I ended up getting, like, 1,000 kills, yeah, you know, my critical kills, I definitely didn't get as many as I should have. Calling in the exfil chopper, there's an abomination shooting at me. Okay, we ended up getting another armor plate vest, so I'm glad that I did that, because, man, that abomination probably would have beat me right there. But anyway, we are getting out the theater. So before we actually try to exfil, oh, we got 45 zombies to take out. I think we could do this. Go ahead and grab up all of our perks. Thank you. And now it's time to, oh, I only have 40 bullets. Okay, that is not good, but I do have a mutant injection. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save us all the heartache. I'm gonna make sure that we can actually exfil, and I'm going to use the mutant injection. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to beat the crap out of this abomination. And that's it. There's gonna be no cuts. We're just gonna sit here and do this together. And there it is. The abomination is dead. Now, there's one more zombie somewhere. Okay, there you little goofy goofball. Surprisingly, there was no manglers. Usually, like, at least one mangler spawns in, but, yeah. That's it. Now we can enter the exfil vehicle, and that is a game completed. So I guess whenever I do the LMGs, I'll just have to make it a round 25 exfil, because, man, like, round 30, maybe if I was doing an LMG that had a fast mag on it, but even then, like, I'd want to make sure I don't have to reload too often, so maybe I'd have to make sure that the fast mag isn't any lower than, like, what, 50 bullets maybe, but Yeah, I don't know, for them bigger ones, 25 seems to be the limit. Yeah, that's what I was saying, dude. 1,061 eliminations, but only 770. Hey, that's a lucky number, 777. But, yeah, that was a bad ratio on my end. My aim was just, you know, I was more focused on the conversation. My hip fire was going all over the place. I was just trying to have a good time, but, yeah, that'll probably take me another, I'd probably say 2 matches to get that one Mystic Gold. Another one for the rest of the headshots, or close to that, and then, you know, another one after that just to complete the rest of the critical kills, as well as the special challenges and the Mystic Gold challenge. So I'll continue working on the LMGs here. As for everything else, I have Opal Camo on, like, you know, all the ARs. Currently working on Opal Camo for the SMGs, because I did end up getting all these Mystic Gold, and then the shotguns. I'm basically done with these as well, just need a few more kills there. As for the marksman rifles, I started working on the DM10 yesterday. For the pistols and the snipers, I put some work in with the LR 7.62, GS45. I mean, as you can see, yeah, I definitely put some work in there, and as I had mentioned before, already started working on the melee weapons just sort of intermittently anytime that I get an insta-kill, so 562 kills there, and 164 there. The power drill is going to come later, so, you know, these are the only 2 that matter at the moment. The launchers will probably be pretty easy too. My goal, or my plan for those, is to spawn into Liberty Falls with a rocket launcher, but then go buy either like the GS45 or the DM10 off the wall, use that until I get to PhD Flopper, and then once I buy PhD Flopper, then I'll just start using the launchers and just see what happens there. Those would probably actually be some fun ones to make videos on, so I might do those after the LMGs just to get them out of the way. We'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at. I will see you guys tomorrow with another chill Nebula grinding session. But anyway, as always, massive shout out to all the patrons and channel members to get all the low ball tier, and even bigger shout out to the big ball tier, Melasking, and Big Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out to all the G tier, run events on the G tier. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Good on you, Doki, arigatou gozaimasu. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.